All right, welcome back, guys. We've got another build on a PC part picker list to show you guys.
This one's a $1,500 price point build, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. This one's focused around gaming and multitasking, whatever you want to do with it. Pretty much this one can do it.
So we went for a price point, but Jamie, when he was picking the parts, also tried to give it a theme of red.
A nice red and black color scheme. It's going to look real cool. Real fiery.
Did you do it because of Deadpool? He did it because of Deadpool.
Sure, yeah, we'll go with that.
So let's take a look.
So we've got, I want to go with AMD Ryzen 7 1700. So that's the 8-core, 16-thread processor from AMD. I like to go with the lower end because we can easily overclock it.
Yeah, it's so overclockable, especially with the fact that we're going to put a good cooler on it.
Yeah, sometimes you can get the 1700X for just a few dollars more. I mean, if you find this one's $285, if you find the 1700X for $290, $295, $300, get that one instead. I think they do bend them a little bit differently, so you might have more potential out of that one. So yeah, 8-core processor, going to give you great multi-threaded gaming, streaming, performance, whatever you want to do. So we're not going to use the stock cooler though. This is a higher end build. We need a better cooler. We're going to go with its CryoRig air cooler, the H7. It's got really good reviews, and it looks like the performance is on par or better than other air coolers in that same $30 price point.
We've talked about the Evo, the Hyper 212 and Evo in the past, and it's a great cooler, but apparently this one outperforms it. So
I have seen performance numbers where it outperforms it. You might have some compatibility issues with this versus the Evo, though, because this looks much wider.
And much lower.
Yes, that's much lower. So it may or may not even fit with our RAM that we're going to pick, but we'll have to research that later, I guess. So yeah, I think it would give us a very good cooling performance to get that like 3.9, 4 gigahertz out of the 1700 processor.
Let's take a look at that motherboard.
Yeah, so again, we're going with a red and black theme, which this Asus Prime X370 board pretty much hits on the head. Pretty generic board, 4 memory slots, 2 PCI Express X16 slots. You can do some SLI, Crossfire, whatever. Looks like 6 SATA ports, I assume. An 8-pin EPS, so good power delivery for overclocking. We like that. It's an M2 slot right there across the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty basic board, right? It's going to do what you need it to do, and it's not super expensive, but still has some good performance on it, I think.
Let's look at the I/O really quick.
Yeah, this is a good picture of the I/O. So lots of USB 3.0, 2.0.
What is the light blue? Is that like a different?
That is probably like 3.1.
3.1, and that would make sense.
I believe. I don't know if it's Gen 1 or Gen 2, but that's probably 3.1. You know what? Let's find Amazon's page. Probably tells us.
You know, one of the things I do like about that motherboard is they're 3.1.
The light blues are 3.1.
One of the things I like is their Gigabyte LAN actually looks like it has indicator lights above it. It sounds annoying, or it sounds like, a little thing, but sometimes it can be really annoying when you're behind there and you're like, okay, let me go back around the computer now and get on the monitor and see if it's actually connected.
I've never seen one that didn't have an indicator, but I know they do exist.
They do exist.
I think I have a docking station at work that does not have an indicator on it. It's kind of annoying. So to keep our color scheme going, I'm going to go with some RGB RAM from G.Skill. Now, obviously, we would just probably set this to red.
You don't have to. It has lots of pretty colors you can do.
Yeah. So 16 gigs, I think, is what we picked. Yep, 16 gig, 2 times 8 gig, DDR4 3000. That 3000 is kind of the sweet spot for Ryzen. 3000 or higher. This was pretty much the point to hit the price, And
you can always upgrade it later.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the board has 2 slots, or 4 total slots, so 2 empty slots after we use this, so you can easily add another 16 or another 32, whatever much you want to add to it.
And then we have Jamie's favorite here.
Yeah.
M2 solid state drive.
The prices come up a little bit. This 960 Evo 250 as an OS drive. It used to be like 115. It's come up a little bit. Pair that with a 2 terabyte from Rustin Digital for $63, and you should have all the storage you need for your games and whatever else.
Let's take a look at that graphics card.
So sticking with the red theme, we've got an MSI GTX 1070 Ti.
With a nice red splotch on it.
Nice red splotch.
See if we can get a better picture on like Amazon or Newegg.
Yeah, it's
Newegg. Or B&H camera.
Yeah. It's a cool looking card, I think.
Yeah, it's a good looking card. Also, probably those fans are pretty large on there. It probably performs quite well.
Yeah, I actually have heard that these MSI coolers have great performance. So, of course, I'd probably liquid metal it anyways.
He's been liquid metaling everything, you guys. It's
I did
ridiculous.
my laptop. He did his pretty
laptop.
Awesome. Yep. All right, so from there, again, sticking to the red, we got the NZXT S340.
This picture doesn't do it justice from just how much red this one has.
Is that better?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a cool case. It has a lot of room.
You have a basement, but the nice thing I like is you actually have that bar right there, if I'm not mistaken, is a cable management bar, right? So you could hide a lot behind there.
Yeah, the cables just kind of come right out from underneath it to plug into your board. Lots of SSD mounts if you want to use like a SATA SSD.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nice case. $85. I'm pretty sure this is tempered glass. Gonna get all we need out of it. So, and last we have the power supply. So this one I found a really good price on. I was surprised to find this for only $80.
It's a semi-modular, which means that the
24 pin is permanent.
But to be honest, you need that one.
You're going to be using that one anyways.
Of all the cables, that one you're definitely going to use.
So yeah, it's semi-modular, 850 watts for $80. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And the cables are all black sleeved. They're even like the flat kind of, not really braided, but you know, that flat molded cable. Yeah. So the 850 would give you plenty of power in case you ever wanted to add, you know, a second 1070 Ti. Plenty of headroom there.
And did you look again to see if the price of the 1070 Ti and the 1080 were very close this time?
I did not. Let me do that real quick.
Yeah, last time we did a build, we had that...
we were torn.
Yeah.
Yeah, see the MSI 1080, that's like $60 more.
Yeah.
For that price difference,
go with the 1070 Ti.
1070 Ti. That's a big price difference.
Yep.
They don't have the color set. Oh yeah, they do. It's right there. Nice. Yeah. See, $65 difference. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
So our total cost of this build comes down to just under $1,500, and then even less after rebates.
So even without the rebates, again, it's under the $1,500 price point, which is about what I think I spent when I built my machine. The one I currently game on, that's what I spent about 3 or 4 years ago when I built it, and it's lasted me till now just fine. Well, again, we should probably bring this up. When you're doing a PC build, usually you don't factor in the cost of any of the peripherals like keyboard and mouse. You won't factor in the cost of a monitor, and you usually don't factor in the cost of your operating system, just because those are not technically part of your PC. They're peripherals to your PC.
Yep.
If you don't have a good keyboard and mouse, if you don't have a keyboard and mouse at all, you can usually get both of those for like $10. They're not the best. They're not going to be the most comfortable, but you can use your computer with it. Monitors, depending on what you want, range in price.
Yep.
But usually those aren't counted in your build. If you guys want, let us know down in the comments. We can definitely talk more about monitors and peripherals.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. We should do a video on monitors and what to look for in a monitor and the cool features that some of them have.
Yeah, I can go over. We can definitely go over like keyboard and mice too. We both have.
Yeah.
We both have mechanical keyboards, and we both have gaming mice, and Even my headset we can go over. Yeah, we can. Anything you guys want us to talk about, let us know. We're always glad to talk about more. But yeah, so that's a $1,500 computer. That would probably, I'd say that. I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase that. $1,500 is you've gotten past beginner and you've gotten to the point where you want to start pushing performance and you want high frame rate and high resolution.
Yeah.
That's around where you start to get into that. When you're at $1,500, that's when you know you've gone from just a guy that needed a computer to a guy that has a hobby.
Yeah.
Is when you've spent $1,500 on your computer and you get to put all the parts together, have a lot of fun.
This is going to be the sweet spot for like 1440p, that higher resolution with high settings, even like some game streaming. You would do some Twitch or something like that while you're gaming.
Yeah,
this computer would do it.
Ryzen. That's another thing we should bring up. The Ryzen series, at least the 7, is actually really remarkably good for games for streamers because it kind of hits all the key points. It's got a fairly low price point. It has 8 cores, which is, you can dedicate a certain number of them to doing the streaming and use the rest for the gaming. Mm-hmm. It's also easily the funny thing is the reason Jamie in this case chose the 1700 as opposed to the 1700X or the 1800 is they're essentially the same, different clock speeds. I think you're right. They probably do bend them differently. The 1800s probably performed better than the 1700.
You could probably reach a higher overclock on the 1800X.
But essentially, for no matter what you get in Ryzen 7, you're getting a 8-core processor. So you always hit that sweet spot of having enough.
The most likely difference is going to be maybe 200 megahertz.
Yeah.
On your overclock.
Which, if you're not even planning on overclocking, you might as well go down and stick with the 1700. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. If you're not going to be overclocking, maybe the higher.
The 1700X is probably better if you don't want to overclock at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to have the XFR, extended frequency range, kind of like Turbo Boost.
But yeah, so that's a $1,500 computer, everybody.
Yeah. Go build it, somebody.
Please let us know if you do.
Because I can't afford to build this one.
Not right now. He spent too much money on Mr. Freeze over here.
Yes, Mr.
Which,
Freeze.
by the way, is what we ended up naming his computer. Thank you to our viewers for that one.
Yep.
But all right, everybody. If you like the video, like and subscribe. Let us know if you have any questions down in the comments. We're always happy to answer them. Later.
Next time.
Hold it. You're not holding it, Jamie.
I can't hold it. That's not me. Oh.
We learned a lot today.
Did we? We learned to use the auto white balance on the camera.
You can't just do that.